Hello, everyone. Probably some of you are already watched my session earlier today. This session is going to be focusing more on customizations of reports and dashboards in DataSelf. So if you're not technical at all, this might be a little bit way over your head. So this session is more focused on people that will be customizing reports and dashboards. Still is fairly easy. If you want to stick around and see, even if you're not technical, you're going to see that in DataSelf, a lot of customizations are straightforward. I'm going to cover a little bit of the content that I covered initially earlier today, just to give a context for those who were not in the first session. So the first thing is what we do is we make it easy to bring data from different data silos. You know, your Sage system, if you use Sage CRM, or the Sage 300, the ERP side. We can also bring data from CRM systems like Sage CRM, Salesforce, data from Excel sheets. Maybe you have budgeting, forecast in Excel. If you have HubSpot, Shopify, any kind of e-commerce platform, Google Analytics. No matter what data silos you have, the idea is DataSelf wants to be the single place where we can bring all of your data silos together. So when you're doing reporting and dashboards, you go to a single place with a single credentials in anything. It's there for you, the consultant, the business analyst, as well for you or for those people who want to get information out of your data silos. This is just a picture of what is the scenario that people have out there, what the data silos that people have to run a business. In DataSelf, what we do is we pull data from your data silos, your Sage, and anything else. I just showing a few of the data sources here, but we pull data from any of your data silos into a extraction transformation learning tool. We have a simple yet powerful cloud data warehouse framework behind the scenes. And then we use tools like Tableau, Power BI, and Excel to be the analytics layer where you can see reports and dashboards easily and quickly. What I'm going to show next is, first of all, very quickly, the end user experience. And right after I show the end user experience, I'm going to go into what it takes to deploy DataSelf, how to do reports customization, and how to change the backend. So my first part I want to show very quickly is an overview of what we did earlier today. Is as a user, when you log to DataSelf, you can see a portal like this. You can see your, let's say, your Sage information, your Salesforce information, Shopify, anything, any data silo can be brought together. And pretty much you just point and click to go to KPIs and dashboards of those data silos. Security can control what every user can see, but overall, whatever a person has access to see, they can see in a portal like this, and they can see the dashboards together. Also, very powerful for end users is the natural language capability. Natural language is you use English to write reports from scratch, just like searching the internet. Let's say I want to see sales, if I can spell, by sales person by month. So I wrote a question to the computer. The computer will give me hits. In this case, only one hit. I select that hit, and the tool will build instantly, accurately a report with the answer to that question. So in this example, in my whole company history by month, I see sales by salesperson using a line chart. And maybe I don't like charts. Maybe I want to see a different representation, maybe bar chart, maybe just text table. I click the text table, and now I see that report using text table. I don't care my whole history. I only want to see in 2020. I type it in. The tool give me the hits. I choose the right one, just like when I'm searching the internet. And then there it is. I can see my information just for what I selected. Natural language, very powerful for business users. You do not need training. You just need to do this, and people can find answers to their questions anytime, anywhere. Easy to export to Excel, easy to integrate with other tools. Now, More elaborate reports and dashboards require more training, and that's what I'm going to show you next. How to create some dashboards that are very elaborate that natural language cannot fulfill. So you have an idea of how people can create a dashboard like this, very interactive, slice and dicing, and whatnot. So to go into the customizations, I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint now. Where's my PowerPoint? There it is. Let me share my screen. Oh, there it is. So in order to deploy in DataSelf, how to deploy and customize DataSelf. Deployment. The deployment takes about 30 minutes. First, you have to order DataSelf from BAASS or from the DataSelf website. Once you order DataSelf, you get an email with the instructions to download DataSelf and connect your system. You run this small application on your network where your source system is, Sage CRM, Sage 300, anything that is over there. You put the product registration information. We secure your IP to be sure your data is very protected. You create a user. You connect to your source system. If it's SQL, you put your SQL credentials. If it's Excel, it's going to be in Excel. If you have other data sources, you put the credentials. You schedule when and how often you want to refresh your system. You click Save and Finish, and the out of the box is deployed. So the deployment literally, if you read things, it takes 30 minutes, but the process is about 5-10 minutes to go through these different steps. Very straightforward to deploy the DataSelf out-of-the-box solution. Now, once you deploy it and you get the system up and running, which might take a few hours to upload all of your data to the cloud, how can someone customize the solution? I'm going to show two sides of it. One is creating new reports and dashboards. And second, I'm going to show how someone more technical can customize the data extraction process. Maybe you have optional fields that out of the box are not recognized by DataSelf. So I want to show how you can go there and add more fields to the extraction process. So let's go through the customization of or creation of new reports and dashboards. So right now I am in the report and dashboard editor of DataSelf. Currently, I'm using the Tableau engine that comes built or embedded into DataSelf. Tableau is a very powerful and easy to use reporting and analytics tool. So right now I am in the report editor and I'm currently connected to my sales data. I'm going to first build a dashboard from scratch to show how easy it is to customize things, a new report from scratch. And this dashboard is going to be for sales. Let's say the VP of sales wants to see in a dashboard 3 different metrics or key performance indicators. One is this person wants to see sales by customer, by product in a given year. So that would be a tabular report. Then also I need to add another widget to my dashboard that will show sales and gross profit trends over time in the whole company history. In the last part of the dashboard will be sales by territory, by state from my sample database. So let me show how I can build these 3 different reports, put them in a dashboard and make this dashboard very interactive. So let's start with the first report, sales by customer, by product, by year. Let's say the last 2 years. So I need to find my customers right here. I put in my rows. These are my customers. And by the way, this is a sample database, generic sample database. I want to see sales. So I'm going to put sales over here. So right now we're seeing by customer sales in the whole company history. All right, well, I want to see sales by year and only select, let's say, the current year. I can find the document date in this list, which is right here, and put in my columns. So there it is, by customer, I see sales by year. Let's say I only want to see the current or the last 2 years. Sure, I can make my document date, which is my year, a filter. And when I say filter, the filter now is on the right. And now I can go over there and say, just show me, let's say, the last 2 years for now. So I'm going to choose the last 2 years. All right, sales by customer, the last 2 years. Well, I want to see also by product. Well, I think you got the hang of it. You have to find a new data point, my product, and drag and drop into my rows. And there it is, by customer, by product, sales the past 2 years. If you know how to drag and drop and point and click, that can do a lot of reports and dashboards, and it's very fluid. Hey, maybe you want to see sales by product by customer. Sure, I can put my customer after my product, and now I have by product, customer, and my sales. Maybe I also want to see quantity sold. Sure, I find my quantity sold over here, and I drag to my report, and now I have quantity sold last 2 years and sales last 2 years. Or maybe I want to put the measure after my year. So I'm going to put measure after, and now I have for every year, I see both metrics side by side. Overall, drag and drop, point and click, and creating filters, you can do a lot of this customization. Anyhow, for my example, I do not need to see quantity sold, it's just sales. I'm going to remove quantity sold. So I'm just looking at sales by product, by customer in the past 2 years. So that's one of the reports. Very easy, as you can tell. The second report is I want to see sales and gross profit trends over time. So what I'm going to do is create a new sheet. A sheet is like an Excel tab. I can create a whole new report on that tab. So now I have the sheet 2. And in this case, I want to see sales. I'm going to double click sales. And by default, the tool puts me a bar for all my sales in my whole company history. I want to see by month. So I'm going to find the document date and double click it. And the tool will automatically, hey, I think you want to see a line chart, sales by year. Close enough. Actually, I want to see by month. Well, right now, this is telling me I have the year aggregation. And actually, I want to click and choose instead month, because I want to see in the whole company history what's happening with sales. So there it is, sales by month in the whole company history. And it's going up. That's good. I also want to see gross profit percentage. What's happening over time? Well, gross profit percentage is right here. Out of the box, it's already pre-calculated. I just drag and drop into my report. So the top is showing gross profit percentage curve. In the bottom is showing my sales. In this example, I probably can click the show me button and choose a tool to show me a dual axis where I will see the orange bars as my sales and the blue line being my gross profit. So that's kind of, an easy representation to see both of them. Now notice that, my old history here, I have some weird data, probably because of legacy migration. So I can quickly make a filter for my month, and I'm going to say, hey, forget about my legacy data, just get rid of the database. Let's just show what's live currently in my Sage, and that's it. Sales bars, gross profit is a blue line, and that was my second widget or report of my evolving dashboard. The last part, I'm going to create a new sheet again, and this time I want to see sales by state. I don't have Canada in my sample database, otherwise it would be provinces. So I'm going to choose the ship to state. I'm going to choose sales here, and I tell the tool, show me this on a map. And what the tool will do is it will create bubbles. The size of the bubble relates to the sales by state. And that's it. I created those 3 different sheets. And now what I would need to do is to put them together in an interactive dashboard, and let's say save it to my VP of sales, whoever asked for this dashboard. So now instead of creating a new sheet, I'm going to create a new dashboard. A dashboard is a place where you can combine several sheets together. In this case, I have the 3 sheets I created. The first one, which is a Tableau report, I'm going to put on the left. I'm going to take the second one, which is the analysis, historical analysis, I'm going to put on the right. So right there, I have those 2 reports side by side. In the third one, the map, I'm going to put in my top right quadrant. You can see these grayed out areas where I drop the report, it will stay where this gray area is. So there it is, I put this map on this dashboard. So 3 widgets together, and now I want them to be interactive. So I tell this map, if I click the filter here, it will make this whole section to work as a filter for my whole dashboard. That means is if I come over here and I start to select section of my dashboard, it will filter the whole dashboard to show what's happening in those that part of the country. Super easy and quick to do these things. All right, so I created this dashboard. I have this, 3 different widgets. Now I can click and save it. I can go and say save as, save in a different location. I'm going to call a different name. Or right now I just have already this name called the BAASS 2020 user group. I'm going to save it. And now this dashboard is ready. And I could get out of the edit mode. So now I'm out of the edit mode. And I go back to my dashboard. And I could call the person who asked for this dashboard, the VP of sales. Hey, VP of sales, you can even send it a link or search for the dashboard 1. The person would go over here and then maybe they open this on a mobile device. And let's say if they were using a mobile device, they could use their fingers to select these data points, and the dashboard would be very interactive. So creating interactive dashboards is that easy. Point and click, modify, and you get something like this. What I'm going to show you next is a little bit more sophisticated report. So I'm going to go back into the edit mode to show something a little bit more elaborate. I'm going to click the edit button. The edit button is only available for people who have editing rights. Most users will not be having edit rights. They're going to be only changing and interacting outside of the report editor. Those who have editing rights, they can do more. So in this example, I was looking at sales report. What if I want to see open sales orders in quantity on hand by warehouse? If you know Sage 300, to get this report together, it's not easy. You have to go to the open sales order tables. You got to go to the item table that has item quantity on hand by warehouse. It's not a simple problem. Because we already have mapped those data sources in DataSelf out of the box, I can tell to the tool, I want to add a new data source. One of them is my inventory on hand today. So this is bringing my inventory on hand today to my report editor. And I also want to add my open sales orders. And there it is. Now I have 2 new data sources in DataSelf. And in my open sales orders, I want to see my product. So I'm going to bring my product to my report. And I want to see my open quantities, things that I have to ship. And let me sort this sending. So these are the products I have to ship in open sales orders. I want to break down by warehouse. So let me put my warehouse in my header. So these are the open sales orders by warehouse. Into my warehouses, they do nothing for shipment. So I'm going to remove those 2 warehouses and only keep my retail and wholesale data warehouses. Now, do I have items to ship by warehouse? I just select now my inventory on hand data source, and I find the quantity on hand, and I drag to my report, and there it is. Right off the bat, I can see by product the open quantity from sales order and quantity on hand from my inventory table. In trying to do this outside of DataSelf, it would take a lot of clicks and tools and export and manually combining. This is already linked out of the box for you. What if you want to create a new measure that would take the open quantity minus quantity on hand to see if I can actually sell something new? Sure, I can create a new calculation. So there's going to be a new metric. I'm going to call available to sell. And what I have is I need to see the sum of quantity on hand minus the sum of open quantity. Don't need two sums. So the available to sell is how much I have on, how many items I have on hand minus how many I already have sold. And that will give me what's left to sell. So I created this new metric. It's called available to sell. I drag and drop, and there it is. Let me just put it in the proper order. I have quantity on hand at the top of the list. I have available to sell at the bottom of the list. So for every item, how many I have per warehouse, how many I already have sold, and how many I have available to sell. So fairly straightforward. You still need to learn. It takes about 8 hours of training to learn to do something like this. But as you can tell, it's no rocket science. All right, so I just showed you the report editor, how you can create some reports and dashboards from scratch. What I'm going to do next is to show the backend customizations. So let me make this small. So this tool is called the DataSelf ETL Plus. And if you remember my architecture before, is the tool that can go to your data sources, any data silo, extract the data, put in a data warehouse, and then the reporting tools can query it. This tool currently, it's a new tool. We redesigned our ETL. Currently, this tool requires SQL Server programming knowledge. So you need to be a little bit of versed with SQL statements. So if you're not versed with SQL statements, you have to wait until the end of next quarter when we're going to have a user interface that you do not need to know SQL statement. But if you know SQL statement, this tool, it's amazingly empowering. You select at the top your data source. So currently I'm connected to a Sage 300 sample database. I see all the tables available from Sage 300. So these are the source system tables. Here in the middle, I see the data warehouse tables, the tables that are going to the cloud. And out of the box, we already have done linking of these tables. So if you look at, AR aging, I'm sorry, AR aging is right here. We're combining the AR cust table. What else here? We have the AR SAP table and AR OBL tables. These tables together will allow you to see receivable analysis in DataSelf. And as you can tell, this is pretty normal SQL statements. If you know how to edit SQL statements, you can go crazy here. You can write anything. You can do unions. You can do groupings. It's just add new fields to this SQL statements. Once you add them, you just save. And you can add more tables. Hey, I want to add some more tables. You just add tables to your data extraction, whatever you want. You can. It's just a very standard framework. And once you finish, you save, and then you tell the tool to refresh. And once you say to refresh, let me just pause it. You can refresh the whole DataSelf system. You can refresh only the data warehouse if you're doing some maintenance. You can refresh the analytics layer. In this case, I'm using Tableau. And once you press refresh now, what happens is the tool will take the data from your on-premises systems and send to the cloud and refresh the reports on the far end. So that's pretty much how the backend works. All right, I think I covered the product presentation showing the front end and the back end. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. A quick overview what I showed you right now, everything that I showed you is part of our out-of-the-box solution for Sage 300. For any data source, including Sage 300. The pricing starts at $2.99 per month. For these user groups, we're giving a special of a 14-day free trial. And if you want to learn more, you can go to dataself.com, just to show you very quickly where to go. So go to dataself.com, the website. Once you're in our website, click your source system, let's say Sage. Pick your Sage system like Sage 300. This page will give you videos, documentation about the solution, how it works for different verticals, screenshots of the out-of-the-box solution, sample reports and dashboards, pricing, and more details. So feel free to explore this page to learn more. In a nutshell, what do we bring to the table? Data silo consolidation. We can bring initially only your Sage data, but eventually all data silos that are important for reporting. So you do not have to go to different systems to see different information, and you can blend them together in dashboards, just like I showed during the report customization. We do have an extensive library of reports and dashboards. I showed some of them in my prior session. You can go to the website to see more screenshots. As you could tell, it's easy to customize the front end using natural language, using the report editor, or using the ETL in the back end. And very importantly, a lot of the reporting tasks that today people do manually, those mechanical things, data preparation, data extraction, calculations, refreshing, distributing reports to people, pretty much the mechanical part of reporting can be completely automated by the data warehouse and the analytics layer we have. We do not replace human intelligence, thank God, but most, if not all, the mechanical part of reporting can be automated by DataSelf. With that in mind, I'd like to open for questions and answers.
We don't have a lot of time, but I do have one question that has come in. Is the data feed live? And if not, how often can it be refreshed?
Very good question. Let me just bring over here the architecture again. So typically, the data connection is not live by default. When we go to DataSelf Enterprise, we have a more capable version. Yes, we can do live feed refresh. With Advanced Analytics for $2.99, we do not do data live refresh. However, we can refresh it very frequently, every hour, every 30 minutes, and then we pull the data. We are very light in extracting data from your source systems and put on the front end. So with Advanced Analytics, no, we cannot. We can do near real time, and with our enterprise version, yes, we can do live refresh.
Thank you so much for that, Joni. Thank you again for presenting today.